First name's pretty easy. So first name's Kuba. Surname's a bit more complicated, so not everyone's going to be able to say it, so it's fine. But it's Kuba Cielen. So however you want to say it, Klein. It's usually Klein when people say it, but it's all good. It's all good. As long as you get the first name right, it's all that matters. Yeah. Right. It's a bit of a long story, really. So I moved to England when I was 11, and I started boxing shortly after. So I was still 11 years old. So while I was boxing, obviously we did quite a lot of weight training after. So obviously I loved boxing at the time and stuff like that, but I was always more passionate about obviously being big and strong, and obviously as soon as I finished boxing, I'd be like, I can't wait to get in the gym and lift some weights. So anyways, long story short, I had a bit of a fallout with my coach at the time, and at 15 I kind of stopped boxing. So I joined a real bodybuilding gym when I was 15. I was still at school then, so obviously I used to rock up with school uniform, and at the time there were no young lads in the gym, so I was literally like the only young lad training there, kind of thing. So all old bodybuilders and stuff used to see me like walking in with uniform, and they're like, yeah, it felt as though they expected me to kind of pack in after a few months, but I stuck it out, and obviously I started eating big. So as you can imagine, when I finished boxing, I was really lean. I was kind of thin, and I think I put something like 3 or 4 stone on within about 6 months. So you can imagine I was like 15 years old, I was 16. I think I was 15 years old, I was like 14 and a half, 15 stone. So at school, teachers was calling me up, they was like, look, we've got a bit of an issue with your son and stuff like that, because he's put a hell of a lot of size on such a short space of time. But obviously, as soon as I started eating and training, I kind of blew up. So the story went on, and I actually started training with one of the owners at the time, called Bruno, and I did my first show at 16, and ever since then it just followed on from there. So I did my first show at 16 and I competed again at 18. So in the juniors I did pretty well in juniors because I was always consistent and I always knew what I wanted. So because I knew what I wanted, I stayed committed, and I did really well. I won all my junior shows. So I did the North East, NABA North East, won the under 18s, won the under 18s Britain, and then I did all the junior shows in NABA as well. So I won the NABA Junior British Finals, and then in 2015 I did the NABA England, NABA Universe, and NABA UK. So and I managed to win all 3 as well. So I had a very, very successful junior career, so to speak. And then I took 2016 off from competing. And I came back in 2017, where I did the Leeds show in August, and I qualified for the junior class, again UKBFF British Finals junior class. So when I first started training, it was always, I kind of set myself a goal. I was like, right, I want to win Junior Mr. Universe. So I won that in 2015. So that kind of pushed me on. And again, that gave me more focus. So again, I stayed more committed and I stayed more focused throughout all that year. And the next step up was UKBFF British Finals, junior class, a little bit more like Flex Lewis kind of thing, because that's pretty much exactly what Flex did. Although I'm not comparing myself to Flex, that's a million miles away, so I don't want people to start thinking I'm doing that, because I'm not. So I thought, right, well that's what he did, that's what I want to do. And it went on from there. So in 2017 I did the Leeds qualifier, I won the junior class, so I qualified for the British Finals, and there was a Leicester show 3 weeks before British Finals, and I thought, right, well, I'm weighing around 99 kilo, but I've still got some weight to lose, so I was in good shape. So I did the Leicester show, I came in at 96.6 kilo in the heavyweight class, and I managed to win the heavyweight class as well, which means at British Finals I could do two categories kind of thing. So I was lucky enough to do 2 categories. Anyways, I had a bit of an accident 2 weeks before, so 2 weeks before British Finals, so I wasn't sure if we were going to do it. But that's when I messaged Jordan kind of thing, Jordan Peters, that's when I messaged him, and obviously I had a big accident, so I wasn't sure if we were going to do it, and it was a pretty serious injury. So anyways, after it happened, I went straight back on diet, straight on morning cardio the day after it happened, and I kind of stuck it out. And anyways, I still managed to improve, even with that short amount of space, and not being able to train as hard as I normally would, and obviously being so limited. And I won the junior class and the British heavyweights in 2017. And obviously shortly after, right after British finals, I messaged Jordan, I'm like, look Jordan, I want to work together kind of thing. Obviously, I followed Jordan for a long time, since I was like probably 15, 16 when he first started, like kind of coaching and stuff like that. So I was like, look, Jordan, obviously I want to kind of improve, I want to come back, I want to do well. So I worked with Jordan all off season, and we've made really good progress. So we started prep for the Amateur Olympia. Obviously that was first prep together, whereas year before I prepped myself. And for me, it's really hard to kind of do as I'm told of somebody else, but obviously I've got a lot of respect for Jordan, and working with Jordan isn't just like, he appreciates your feedback as well, because at the end of the day he's a good coach, so he appreciates your feedback, so whatever I tell him he kind of takes on board as well. So we kind of work together in that sense. So I found it a lot easier to put my trust in Jordan and do as I'm told. So we did the Amateur Olympia, and I was really lean, but I was dead flat. But again, it was the first show together, and we made massive improvements compared to British finals. So we ended up with 4th place. Personally, I think it was deserved, because I was sharp, I was dead flat. When I was posing, there was no pop as I normally would. So shortly after, there was Ben Weeder Classic in Spain, and I was like, I messaged Jordan day after, I was like, right, what do you think, shall I do it? I was like, yeah, definitely do it, don't give it, you've got to give it another crack. So I was like, right, let's do it. So we did it, and again, I've made big improvements in that 2 weeks. I came in full as a house, and managed to win my class and the overall. Obviously the standard, I will admit, the standard wasn't as high as the Amateur Olympia, but the standard was still good, and I managed to win the pro card, obviously, which personally I don't think I'm really ready for. But again, what that leads back to, obviously, amount of progress I've got to make now to make the step up again. So by no means I think I'm ready to compete in the pro ranks, which I'm nowhere near that. But with what I've learned in last year, and how much Jordan's knowledge come on, and my knowledge personally when it comes to training and how I can train, and how well I can apply myself to training and other aspects such as recovery and all the outside bits that actually matter. Like, I know how much improvements I can make, and personally I feel like I've only just tapped into the potential of what I can do with my body in progress. So, and from a personal standpoint right now, I feel like I'm in a perfect position to do what I'm doing and put everything into it, because I've got a solid business behind me, and obviously, as everyone knows, me and Lucas, my training partner, one of my best friends, we own Iron Athlete Gym, and recently we've just joined forces with Ultraflex. So believe me, mark my words, that's me not even blowing the trumpet. When the gym's done, it's going to be one of the best training facilities in Europe, and I'll stand by that now, and I'll say it now. And believe me, come January time, when it's all done, you can come down, you can video it, and I promise you, it's going to be one of the best facilities in Europe, by far. So you'll see when everything's there, when everything arrives, all the equipment. Basically, with the partnership we've got with obviously Charlie from Ultraflex and Mike, I've had the opportunity to pick out the best equipment in the world that suits top-end athletes. So I've got the best of Prime Fitness coming, I've got the best of Atlantis, I've got the best of Hammer Strength, I've got the best of Watson equipment. So as you can imagine, I've got the best of the best coming to one place. And with the size of the gym, it's enormous already, and we're having a mezzanine floor put in now as well. So it's going to be 2 levels of pretty much heaven for any professional athlete, whether it's your bodybuilder or powerlifter. So we kind of cater for everyone. So it'll be, to me, it's going to be like a British answer to Oxygen Gym. And that's not me making a short statement, that is me being deadly serious. It's got a British answer to obviously Oxygen Gym, I can promise you that now. Like I've mentioned early on, with how much I've learned personally from aspect of recovery, training, how I'm training, what works for me, and how far I can actually push it and still stay healthy, I believe I can make enough improvements to crack the top 10 at a lower end professional show. So end of next year, we've got Prague, we've got Italy, and we've got Romania back end of the year. And my plans right now are obviously make as much improvements as I can in off season, which I know working with Jordan, I can do that. And I'm really confident saying I will make enough improvements right now to be able to crack top 10 next year, end of next year, 100%, 100%. I know I can. I've consistently made improvements year to year from 16. If you look at the pictures, they're pretty good improvements as well. And like I've said before, in that time, I haven't really focused on little things that matter, such as better sleep, better recovery. Obviously during that time as well, before I opened the gym, I used to work doors and I PT'd in the day. So as you can imagine, my sleep wasn't great, the stress levels were through the roof because I was working kind of half night shifts and then I was working all day PTing. So I was constant at work, constant training, my body was stressed, I was stressed, and it's not a good environment to make progress. Right now, I'm lucky enough to be in a position where my online coaching is doing well enough for me not to have to work doors anymore, and obviously the gym's doing well enough for me not to have to work doors again, and not to have to do as many one-to-ones as well. So for now, my focus is on kind of building up my online base, and I still do one-to-ones, but it's more selective right now. Whereas before, I used to kind of work with anyone and everyone. Whereas right now, my passion is working with athletes. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. So one-to-ones are more like my online clients where they travel from other cities or wherever they're based. They travel and come and train with me, that's it. And for me, I really love doing that. So as long as I can keep this up, like my environment right now is perfect to make big progress. Only way I can explain it, he's just as committed as I am. So I can relate to Jordan in a lot of ways with his work ethic. So when I see him train, I look at his work ethic, I look at how much he puts into stuff. I kind of thrive off that, so it kind of inspires me to do the same. So because it inspires me to do the same, I look at Jordan, I look at how he approaches things from the mental side of things and how much he actually puts into this. I think to myself, like, right, I need to step my game up. So I need to work twice as hard as I have before and twice as smart. So again, working hard without being smart is absolutely ridiculous. So again, that's where Jordan comes in and kind of educates me in a lot of things, and we kind of I progress on from a business standpoint, from personal standpoint with the way I approach things, and it just works, to be honest, it works. And personality wise as well, he's a great guy. I've got a lot of respect for him as well. So it works. So I don't really think right now, I'd be able to work with anyone else, just because I get on with him and I respect his ways and I respect his way of thinking and working. So because I like the way he approaches things, I can work with him without kind of doing my own thing, if you get what I mean. Yeah. So because obviously I've coached since I've personally trained since I was 18. So again, like I've mentioned before, I find it really hard to follow something I don't trust or believe in. And I trust Jordan and I believe his methods and I like his methods. So it works. There's no stress. I don't have to stress and overthink things, whether it's going to work for me or not. And I'll give you an example. Obviously, shortly after the show, it sent me the training through. And every session I've done, it literally feels like I've just started training again. Like, I'm amped up and I'm excited to train every day now because the training feels that good. It's just, everything's perfect, how it's set up in terms of volume, intensity, in terms of how I've got to do things, and obviously how much intensity I've got to put in, and obviously how strict I've got to be in my sets. So it just works. Right, so I'm 24. So I've turned 24 this year, and I'll say probably 3 things: commitment, consistency, patience. So ever since a young age, from 15 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to be. So I always said to myself, right, I want a gym. I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be a successful bodybuilder. I want a successful gym. And from the age of 15, that's all I've been bothered about. If you speak to any of my teachers, they always said to my mum, they said, unless it's about food or training or when he's going to eat, how he's going to eat, what he's going to eat, he's totally not bothered. He's not interested at all. And because I've always been committed to that cause, so I've made my own commitment and I've stayed consistent and I've stood by it. So I've never come off track. Started off with one of my real good friends that I actually work doors with. So James Nuttall is a great powerlifter as well. So it started off, there was 4 of us. Obviously, I wasn't able to do it on my own for financial reasons. And obviously with the size of facility, trust me, believe me, it cost a lot to set it up. I don't know if you've ever been, but I think Jules has been to some photography there. She actually did some shots for me for the Flex magazine, the leg training session. But the facility's huge, so the amount of money it costs to set it all up and kit it all out, it wasn't possible for one person. So at a time, obviously there was me and 3 other business partners, and due to personal reasons for them, they couldn't be no longer part of the business. That was around a year and a half down the line, and that's obviously where one of my really good friends, Lucas, came along. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to get 50% shares of the business then, and then Lucas got on board and got over 50% of the shares. And obviously, there was no fallouts between any of us. It was just the other guys had to focus on other parts of their life, and they couldn't commit to the gym like I could. So because they couldn't commit to the gym like I could, it wasn't fair for me to do as much when they can't, kind of thing. And they kind of understood that, and they all agreed, like, look guys, well, we can't do it, so let's part ways on good terms. They all still train at the gym as well, so it's all good. We're all still friends, so there was no fallouts. And obviously then on, it was just me and Lucas owning the gym, and within a short space of time, the facility has really improved. And I was actually in Leeds, training in Leeds, not in Leeds gym, Leeds Ultraflex. On day of my girlfriend's birthday, went Leeds shopping and stuff, I took her out and stuff like that. And I was sat down training, resting between my sets, and Charlie and Mike came over. And obviously we got chatting and stuff. And they was like, look, why don't you come down and have a chat about the gym and stuff like that? See what we can do. We got a bit of like a business proposition. I was like, right, well, why not? Let's do it. At the start, I was really sceptical about doing it because I felt like I can, by myself and Lucas, obviously Lucas are great guys, but same work ethic as me. So I believe we can both bring the gym on by itself. But again, financial reasons, it would take us around, when I add it all up, it would take us probably like 6 years to get it how I want it. Whereas with Ultraflex guys, I can get it done in 3 months. And obviously that, it takes off a lot of pressure from me as well, knowing that I'm still going to be part of a great facility and I'll own a slight smaller percentage of a bigger pie, if you get what I mean. So the way I thought about it is, right, if I'm going to do this, we're really going all out. So if we're going to do it, that's how I put it towards Charlie and Mike as well. I said, look guys, we're going to do it, we're doing it, but we're going to kit it out with the best kit in the world, and there's going to be no expenses spared, and we're doing it top to bottom, and it's going to be unreal. So that's kind of how it went on, and as soon as I said that, there was like, well, that's what we want anyway. Like, we don't want to do things by half. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it, so it's the best facility we can possibly do. And obviously, we had a bit of a meeting at their gym in Leeds, and obviously Charlie and Mike came down to check the gym out, and as soon as I seen the size of it and the potential, there was like, wow, the potential's crazy here, because it's a big old warehouse. It's pretty new as well, so aesthetic wise it's great, and the location is great as well. It's just off the motorway, it's just off Rotherham Town Centre, So it's easy to get to, the location is great, the warehouse is great, because it's so high, we could put another floor in. So right now, well, the gym's gonna be, just wait till it's done. Wait till it's done, you'll be impressed, yeah? Again, I'll come back to what I said at the beginning, commitment. I've committed to do this since I was a kid. So to a lot of people, they may feel like I've missed out on things. I've missed out on holidays with lads and stuff like that, nights out. But it's like, to me, I haven't missed out on anything. All my friends, they know the score. They know that, right, he's prepping now, we can't even go out for food, and he's not going to be the best guy to hang about with. So we're going to leave him to it. When he's done prep, we'll take him out some food, and he's going to be all right to kind of hang about with, and we're going to be able to go around to his house, chill out, have a laugh. But one day, it's like the way I've structured my life right now, I never get to a point where I think, right, I'm giving up, because that's not an option. It's like, I've committed myself to do this since I was a kid. It's like, I don't do this, it's not a chore for me, it's not a job. It's like, I do it because I love it. And there's never been a point in the last 10 years of training, even since I was 11, there's never been a point where I thought, I don't want to do this. Even when I was like, what I would say, dog end of prep, when I'm dead on my feet, there's never been a point where I'm questioning myself. And even though it gets hard, I always think to myself, right, there's always somebody that's going to work harder. So, and to me, doing what I do is a privilege. So I'm privileged to do this. I'm lucky to be able to do this as I am now. So I'm lucky to be able to make a living out of doing what I love. So when people say, oh, I'm not like, I can't be asked to go to the gym, it's just like, well, if you don't want to go, don't go. Like, nobody's making you do this. It's your own choice to do it. It's like, would you do something you don't want to do? You wouldn't, would you? So, to me, if anything in your life is a chore, don't do it. Do things because you love doing them. If I ever feel like I don't want to train, I won't train. Simple as that. But, to me, it's, since I was a kid, when I used to watch Strongman with my dad, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I used to look at them lifting stones, and back in the day, they was pretty lean and in shape. So there was big guys like lifting stones, in shape, strong, lifting all this weight, and I just thought, that's what I want to do, that's what I want to look like. So to me, it's never going to be an option, and I know this now, to me it's never going to be an option where I'm not going to do this. Whatever I can still walk and move, whatever I can still lift my arm up, I'm always going to do this. Like, this is my life, this is what I do, this is what I've always done, and this is what I've always stayed committed to since day one, since I was a kid. So, don't get me wrong, I've got my life outside, I've got a life outside the gym as well. It's like, I'll still go out now and again, but it's not going to be a party every week or every month. It's like, everything's planned, kind of thing, like everything's got a structure with me. So, it's like, I'll tell all my friends, like, right, I can go out then. So, it's probably 3 months away, 12 weeks away, or especially in off season, because in prep, 18, 20 weeks before show, it's nothing, it's dead, and they know that. So in off season, they'll probably get 2 or 3 nights out with me, but because they do that, it's always like a big event. But to me, again, it's kind of, I'm committed to my cause, and that's what I want to do. So it's never a chore, no matter how hard it gets. And no matter how hard it gets, again, it comes down to mentality of knowing that somebody's working harder than you, somebody's pushing harder than you, and you need to step your game up. Because no matter how hard you train or how hard you think you train, somebody is working harder and smarter. So it's not just about working hard, it's about getting more knowledge, learning and moving forward. So it's no good just thinking, right, I'm going to get big and strong. You've got to progress in both ways. You've got to get big and strong and smart. Because this game isn't just lifting weights, it's about getting as knowledgeable as you can. So for me, that's just how it goes, and that's how it always goes. So I've literally, all my life, I've done and I've planned. So all my life is set out around this. So my job, obviously, is around this. Coaching, training people, the gym. Everything is done to make my life easy and make my life kind of suit this. So my life doesn't evolve around work. My life revolves around training, bodybuilding, and that's how I've set it out, and that's how it's always going to be.